teach you what's called factoring. All right, so please look up on the board. All right, and I'd like to show you something. All right, first of all, if I said to you, what are the factors of, let's say, 12? Somebody tell me what the factors of 12 are. Go. 3 and 4. What else? 2 and 6 and 1 and 12. Those are the factors of 12. Why are those called factors? Because those multiply together to get what? 12. All right, those multiply together to get 12. All right, so now 2 times 6, because 2 times 6 is 12. All right, now the hard part is we're now going to move it into the algebra part. All right, what? Very good, we said that. 4 times 3 is 5. Yep. All right, so now we're going to try to do the algebra part of it. All right, if I said to you multiply 2x times x minus 4, everybody should be able to say that's just what? What?
2x to the second minus 8x.
2x squared. Yes, 2x squared minus 8x. All right. Now the question is, now here, listen and see if you understand what I'm saying. If you understand this, the whole thing is easy. Somebody tell me the factors of 2x squared minus 8x. What are the factors of 2x squared minus 8x?
2x squared.
No. 1. 2 is a factor, actually. No.
8.
Now, again, the question is this. What two things multiply together to get 2x squared minus 8x? What? What two things multiply together to get 2x squared minus 8x? Tell them. That's the answer. What two things multiply together? 2x and x minus 4. How did we know that? Because I just have it written right in front of your face. Right? You see what I'm saying? Look up there now so you understand what I'm trying to tell you. All right, I multiplied these two things together. It'd be like saying 11 times 7 is 77 and saying, what are the factors of 77? 11 and 7. Shh, shh, shh. Just listen. All right? So again, all right, your job today is going to be able to, you have to look at, and you have to go backwards now. Or we multiplied, now we're finding the factors that make up that product. All right, we're finding those factors that make up that product. So you're just continuing to listen. All right, so if I said, for example, 3x cubed minus 6x squared. Here's generally what I tell kids. Think of it like they're in buckets. All right, so you have in this bucket and you have in this bucket. All right, in the first bucket you have 3x cubed. In the second bucket you have 6x squared. Now, if you want to think about it, in the first bucket you could have, that's the same as 3 times x times x times x. Everybody agree with that? And on the second bucket, you have 2 times 3 times x times x. Everybody agree with that? Come on now, you got to listen. Now the factor, generally we say GCF. G stands for what? Greatest. C stands for common. Common just means what's in both. All right, and factors are what multiplies together. All right, so when we're dealing with the GCF, I want to take out the maximum I can take out. That's the greatest. But I can only take factors out that are what? Common. All right, so if I'm looking in these buckets, do you agree 3 is common? Right? Does everybody agree 3 is common? Then we could also say that x squared is common, or x and x. Does everybody agree? So I'm pulling out a 3x squared. I'm pulling out a 3x squared. What's left behind?
X.
What's left in the 2 buckets? X minus 2. Now how do I know I'm right? Because I can just remultiply. What's 3x squared times x? 3x cubed. And what's 3x squared times negative 2? Negative 6x squared. All right? Now, essentially, what's the rule? The rule is you divide numbers and you subtract exponents. All right? You divide numbers and subtract exponents. So, how many were common? 2, right? So there were 3. 3 minus 2 is what? 1. There were what? 2. 2 minus 2 is what? 0. 3 divided by 3 is what? 1. 6 divided by 3 is what? That's how I'm coming up with the answers. Very, very simple. Very simple. All right? Cannot emphasize that enough. All right? Now, does it have to be 2 terms? There could be, for example, let's say I said something like 5x plus 10y minus 15z. What's the only thing that's common? 5. Everybody should be able to say, well, that's kind of easy. That's just 5 times x plus 2y minus 3z. Everybody agree with that? Right? And of course, it could get a little bit more difficult if I said, for example, 12x cubed minus 4x squared plus 8x. Come on, guys. What is common? 4 and a. Does everybody agree it's 4x? All right, 4x. So now you just put down 4x, you open parentheses. All right? Divide numbers, subtract exponents. So what's 12 divided by 4? X cubed, x to the second, minus 1x, and then plus, think for yourself, plus 2. Look how simple that is. Does everybody agree? Right now, for some reason, some kids, this is hard for me to explain. Right? I'm not sure why it's hard for some kids to see that. All right? If you're having trouble, you got to speak up right away. You may have any issues with that. Yes. Because I did what's, pay attention. What is 4 divided by 4? 1. And now there were 2. I'm subtracting 1. 2 minus 1. 1. That's where that came from. All right, what?
Why does it become 3x squared?
What do you want it to be?
Well, are you subtracting 3 minus 2, or you just
3 minus 2.
well then it was 12x.
Listen, Gavin, here, let me try to explain something, because eventually, listen, I'm not giving you a hard time because you've been much better. So listen now, carefully. All right? You're smart enough, and this is where I'm trying to make everybody. All right? And I give Gavin a hard time because sometimes he just doesn't want to make decisions. All right? Look, I'm saying this. You're staring at 12x cubed and 4x, and I tell you that the answer is 3x squared. Your brain should be able to say, what did he do with the 12 and the 4 to make 3? Yeah, 12 minus 4 is 3, right, Gavin?
No, you divided and then you subtracted the exponent.
That's exactly what I want everybody in here to be able to do. That's why some of you I give a hard time with. You're not paying attention. You cannot be paying attention and miss that. That's just not possible. And let's say you're just daydreaming and you just wake up. And you're looking at the problem, you're going, what in the world? And then you just piece it together. Now I'm at the middle term, and here is a middle term. How did I get 1? 4 divided by 4 is what? 1. How did I get this exponent to be a 1? 2 minus 1 is 1. Because again, you're dealing with this number right here. And each one of these here. And like I said, if you forget everything, you can write down the rule. What do you do to numbers? Divide numbers. What do you do to exponents? Subtract them. Now, the other thing I want to show you is kind of helpful, just to kind of make sure that you understand what I'm saying, is the common denominator is 4x. I mean, common denominator, but the common factor is 4x, the GCF. Greatest common factor is 4x. Everybody agree? Mm-hmm. So now I want to show you something else that kind of helped me out, just in case you forget something. You're literally just dividing it out. Or we've already talked about division. All right? But instead of writing it like that, what you should be doing is you should just be writing it as this. Divide by 4x, divide by 4x, and divide by 4x. Everybody agree with that? Now do you see a little better, Gavin? 12 divided by 4 is what? 3. X cubed divided by x, x squared. Negative 4 divided by 4, negative 1. X squared divided by x, x. 8 divided by 4, 2. Do I agree? So that's what you get. That's the other factor. The first factor would be what? 4x. Everybody good on that now? It's very, very simple. And I'm telling you, those of you guys who didn't make an A on the last test, you have a chance to make an A on the next test easily. Easily. But you got to make sure you're answering all the questions. If you're having a problem, let me know. What?
Since it's 4x, why is it 4x squared?
Is there a common x squared? No, that's why it's x. You're doing common, the greatest common. All right, now let me show you what I mean, just to make sure. If I write this, if I write x to the 6th, 3x to the 6th, minus 9x to the 10th. What's the greatest common factor? 3. X to the 6th. Is x to the 2nd a factor? Yes. Is x a factor? Yes. Is x squared? Yes. X cubed? Yes. X to the 4th? Yes. X to the 5th? Yes. Is x to the 6th the greatest?
Yes.
That's what we're looking for. That's what that G stands for. You're looking for the greatest. You're looking for the greatest. All right? Just like if I made this number right here. Look right here. 36. Is 1 a factor? Yes. Is 2? Is 2 a factor? No. Is 3? Yes. Is 9? Yes. 3 is a common factor, but I'm not looking for a common factor. I'm looking for the what?
Greatest.
Greatest. So the answer would be what? 9. It would be 9. And then, of course, it would be x to the 6th. Is everybody with me? All right, so now I'm going to give you a chance. Just sit there. All right, look up. All right? Ava, number 1, what's common? With 8 and 80. Very good. And Excellent. Thank you. Virginia, you're up. One what? Because? Now here's where I'm trying to make sure. This is what some of you guys, there's no room to sit and go, oh my gosh, someone, it doesn't matter. Come on. Speak up. Or it's got to be crystal clear. I promise you, it's super easy. It's struggling at first. It's something brand new you've never done. So it's going to take you a second to think through it. All right? How many X's did I start with? 2. I pulled out what? 1. So how many are left? 1. That's why it's 1x to the first. And then finally, that's it. Because why? We pulled out an x. There's no more x's. There's no more x's. All right? So now, Leia, 11x. You're awesome. 1x minus 15. All right, Carson. Easy as that. Go ahead. 9A. 9A.
17. Or just 17.
Brilliant. Okay? Easy as that. Very simple. All right? Number 11.
6.
Good. Perfect. All right, here we go. 13. You're awesome. That's exactly correct. Don't be confused if there's multiple variables. Go. Good job. Very good. Very, very good. Go.
X cubed and then x minus
Nice. Good.
and then
P what? Do we?
to the second
Very good.
plus
Nice. Easy as that. Now, again, what you're trying to do is not daydream, but you're trying to say the answer while the person is saying the answer. Then you can tell if you understand what you're doing. All right? That's what you're supposed to be doing. All right, Catalina, 21. You mean? Beautiful. Perfect. A lot of people accidentally leave off the 1. You're still dividing. 5 divided by 5 is still what? 1. All right, 23. Noel. Yes. Easy. Come on, come on. Stay with me. You'll be done here in a minute. Parker, go.
So -5.
Beautiful. Do you have to pull out the negative? No. Traditionally, though, the leading coefficient is positive. All right. In other words, this leading coefficient should be positive. So if the first term is negative, we pull out the negative. Is everybody with me? But it would not be wrong if you wrote 3p and then negative, positive, positive. All right? Ken, you're up. Uh-oh. The end. Guys, come on, man. Look how simple that was. Does everybody agree? Very, very simple. Very simple. Notice the answers are where?
There.
At the bottom of the page. All right, the answer is at the bottom of the page. Now, again, I don't want anybody mad, but if you didn't make an A on the last test, I'm a little mad at you. All right, because you just didn't do the practice. You didn't do enough practice. And I really want everybody to understand this is a huge part now. I'm preparing you now for the big stuff that's on the SATs. And a couple of you are going to be taking it in, I think, March. All right. So it's very important for those of you guys who are trying to do well on that. Kind of pay attention. A lot of these rules, this all there is on the SAT is some of these are just knowing the rules. All right. And so again, if you didn't get the practice, don't look at your grade and put it in your notebook and forget about it. Go home and fix everything. Fix your mistakes. You didn't make an A. Just look over and see, wow, that was dumb. Because if you don't tell yourself, wow, when I'm adding, I accidentally added the exponents, you're going to make the same mistake on the next test. All right? You need to fix your mistakes. That's what makes you better than everybody else, is your willingness to correct your mistakes. Take care of that now. All right? I mean that. Take care of it. All right? And you should be done in